Thursday morning, Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa, and I have a major issue this morning. I'm always having issues these days, I don't know. But let me talk about it first. Now, the Commissioner of Police in Enugu State, Muhammad Aliyu, has ordered the rescue of Stanley Eguma. Now, popular coach of Rivers United FC, Port Harcourt, reportedly abducted along the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway on Tuesday. Aliyu gave the order in a statement issued by the State Police Public Relations Officer, PPRO ASP Daniel Undukoy, on Wednesday in Enugu. The order followed a complaint to the anti-kidnapping unit of the command by two other persons traveling with the victim. The commissioner urged members of the public with useful information that would assist the command in its ongoing investigation to endeavor to provide such information. Sayo, good morning.
Good morning to you, Scott.
Mukhail, Tinubu, good morning.
Good morning.
Sayo, sad news I have this morning. As popular as he is, Stanley Eguma has been abducted. We can't find him yet. What do we do?
It's a very sad one. I'm not happy with the news at all. It's something heartbreaking to the families, even to the football club. I really don't even know what to say. I am lost of words, honestly speaking.
Now, stay with us, Sayo. Let me come to you, Mukhail. This is big. It's big because this guy is one of our biggest Nigerian coaches. We've heard of Samson Siasia's mother kidnapped, and now Stanley Eguma. I'm a victim of this, really. But how bad can this get, really?
I mean, you know, stories about people getting kidnapped are usually things that are far away from us. As individuals, as family members.
It's not near us.
It's not near us. But when you hear that someone who is as popular and well-liked as him, who in his own job, it's a part of his job, a prerequisite of his job, to make the area where he represents proud. That's not the kind of person, and news like this tells us that even we are not safe.
Okay, let me mention this, just for the record, that I'm a victim of this. Not kidnapped though, but, well, almost there. You know, and Sayo, we are begging the kidnappers. We are trying to talk to them. I'm sure one or two of them would like sports. Please. Stanley Eguma is not a rich man. He doesn't have any money to actually give you guys, really. What do you think, Sayo?
Well, I think this has to stop. It's a very, very bad image for the country. Don't forget, you mentioned earlier that this has not just been happening. It has happened. It has started for a long time now.
Samson Siasia's mom, yes. John Mukhail's father, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps going on, and it looks like it's a business now. I mean, this is a very, very bad business to put your hands into. This has to stop. I think the security measures has to be tightened now. I mean, let all hands be in deck for Stanley Eguma to be released.
Amen. Amen to that. Still with us, Sayo. Now, African champions Super Falcons in the early hours of Thursday suffered a 2-0 defeat to world's top-ranked nation and current world champions United States in their last game in the U.S.A. Summer Series at the 20,500 capacity stadium in Austin, USA. Christian Press and Lynn Williams scored both goals for the USA in either halves. Now, the game was the sixth meeting between both sides, with the African champions started on a promising note. Right wing back Michel Alozie cleared the ball off the feet of Megan Rapinoe in the 5th minute, with the 5 minutes played into the second half. USA's Abby Dankepa stooped low for a diving header, but misjudged the flight of the ball, which Chidima Okale cleared. Now, Nigeria goalkeeper Obehi produced the save of the match, when she brilliantly parried away a fantastic strike from Christian Press as she was teed up by Rapinoe. Olei was however, unlucky to be down by the defenders as the USA side doubled their lead towards the end of the game. Now, Shara, let me start with you on this one. The USA team, the best team in the world champions. Nigeria had no chance beating them. But I thought we did, though.
Well, I wasn't expecting a better result. I think 2-0 is a fair one. Going by the pedigree of the Americans, they are the best, female national team side in the world. And I think in this invitational tournament now, we've played 3 games. We've lost 2, drawn 1. I think the game we actually played first against Jamaica, that was a winnable game. We should have won it. We didn't capitalize on the fact that we were better and they ran us rugged. And now America, I'm not surprised about the USA women's national team. They had to do the needful.
Okay, Shaya, slow down. Mukhail, let me hold you on that one. What Shaya was trying to say indirectly, nicely though, was that we were lucky that it even was 2-0. You agree with that too?
Yeah, I mean, we always have to take.
Come on.
We always have to take advantage of matches that are obviously winnable, like the Jamaica match. But matches with with USA, for example, we go in. We have to respect the opposition, and we have to go in with a game plan that demonstrates that respect. If they had gone in with the intent of defending all throughout and just to get a draw, I would have been comfortable with it because at least we would know that the person we were playing, the team we were playing, are the best in the world.
Okay. The guys who actually follow this club call him Agbawu. I don't know why. But he's been there for 16 years. Long-serving Real Madrid captain Sergio Ramos is to leave after a 16-year spell in which he won 22 trophies, the club said on yesterday. Now, Ramos, he's 35 now, ran down his contract and according to Spanish newspaper Marca, was unable to agree an extension after Real offered him a 1-year deal on a 10% pay cut, which he rejected. Ramos signed for Real from Sevilla in 2005 for a then 27 million euros, a record fee for a Spanish defender. Now, making 671 appearances and scoring 101 goals, Ramos was made captain in 2015 after the departure of goalkeeper Ike Casillas. Ramos last season with Real, in which they failed to win any silverware, was plagued with injuries, which led to Spain coach Luis Enrique leaving him out of the squad for Euro 2020. Real's statement confirming his departure said Ramos will be honored with a tribute and farewell ceremony attended by club president Florentino Perez. Sayo, Sergio Ramos leaves Real Madrid. Who thought that was going to happen?
Well, no one saw that happening, especially the fact that he's the captain. Ramos, I don't think if you ask him, he wanted to leave. I think it was because of the deal, the negotiations were not agreed upon, and he had to move on. Going to the next club he's going now, I think he should just focus on getting out of the shores of Spain, going to possibly England or so, so he can be able to rub shoulders with others.
Come to think of it, Mukhail, we've heard different stories. Sergio Ramos is an experienced defender. He's going to bring maturity into any defense line that he comes into. We're hearing of Chelsea, we're hearing of Manchester United, we're hearing of Manchester City. If Ramos does leave Spain, is he coming to England?
I don't know about that. Interestingly enough, goalkeepers and central defenders are typically the longest serving players.
True that.
They have the longest careers. But even just 10 years ago, a central defender at 35 would be looking at retirement. He would be looking, and especially someone who has spent all his life, his playing career at Real Madrid, would be looking to go out as a retired legend at his home.
I'm not looking for somewhere else.
I'm not looking for someone else. But here we are in this day and age. My problem is he refused a 1-year contract extension with a 10% pay cut. Usually players at 30, 31, 32 start looking at how to get one final big contract that they can retire on. So if he had refused if at 32 he had refused a 1-year contract, I would have understood. He's looking for maybe a 3-year contract so he can go out with a good, nice payday. But unless you're going somewhere where they need you absolutely, and such a club would be at a lower level than Madrid or most of the European clubs.
Doubt, yeah.
Those are the only places that are going to be willing to give you as high as 3 years. So him coming to England, even Thiago Silva, who's at Chelsea, is only getting a 1-year contract running that gets extended as the club feels. So I don't know if he's going to be able to go to a PSG or Chelsea or a Man City, even at 35 with all the experience that he has, and still get the kind of contract he's looking for.
Okay, Sayo, Mukhail makes it look like he's a veteran, like he's a very old man. You know what? I remember vividly U.S.A. 94, the Super Eagles, when we went up against Italy. I remember that Maldini was 39 and Donadoni was 40. And they took our guys out, I can show you, took Amunike out, took Amokachi out, and they never played football again. And Amunike never played football again, though.
I want to go the way of Mukhail this morning, especially with the fact that Ramos, his form has dropped. Don't forget he's coming back from injury. And in the first time in a long while, Ramos is not even in Spain's squad going to a major tournament. All of this has reduced Ramos' stock. Don't forget also that Ramos, I want to pick you up on this now. Ramos is not the player that has a calm head. Now, coming into a team in England where they rarely concede red cards, it will be difficult for Ramos, because this is where Ramos tries. He's a careless tackler. He goes into tackles, for the team. Yes, we know, but Madrid were able to contain his red card because they have players, they have great players. Now, how many clubs in England can play with one man down and still come back to win a game or maintain the results? That's a very big question to ask. So for me, I think many clubs will want to actually sign Ramos, but Ramos might not be profitable for many big clubs in England right now.
Okay, Mukhail, Sergio Ramos is not a big fan of the English press, considering the fact that he actually almost ended the career of Mo Salah. He's not he doesn't have fans there in England.
Well, the thing about fans is that they're fickle. If he comes to a club, any club in England, the fan base will get behind him if he's the one holding the defense down week in, week out. I mean, I'm not saying that Ramos is done, but any club that wants to pick him up now has to consider he hasn't played in almost a full year. A full season of football he's missing. And if I'm going to pick such a player with such limited time to get the best out of him, am I really going to want to risk, especially in these times when money is tight, as easy as it would be to pick up a player like him on free? That said, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in Juventus. The old lady seems to like picking up players of his caliber for nothing.
And they make the best out of them.
Yes.
This particular story tickles my fancy. I'll tell you why later. Okay, now Marcus Rashford has described England captain Harry Kane as one of the best forwards in the world. Kane began his Euro 2020 campaign on Sunday without a goal in England's 1-0 win over Croatia, with many suggesting the 27-year-old will not repeat his Golden Boot triumph from the 2018 World Cup. Now, Rashford, who came off the bench against Croatia, is now looking already to Friday's huge clash against Scotland, where he will come up against Manchester United's teammate, Scott McTominay. Off the field, Rashford also revealed, this is the part that tickles my fancy, he has no plans of running for Prime Minister.
As players, you want to play in the biggest, most historical games, and I think for our careers, this is going to be up there with one of the best games that we play. One of the games that we remember for the rest of our careers. So, for me, I look back to the last time I played against them, and the atmosphere, the build up to the game. It was a unique game, and now to do it in the Euros is definitely a moment that we're looking forward to. And you know, we spoke about it in camp, and you know, we recognise that it's a very important message, and if you want to spread important messages, there's no better place to do it than on the biggest stage. And you know, that's why we continue to take the knee. So them taking the knee as well is going to be definitely a good thing. And like I said, there's more of us spreading the correct message. So hopefully it has a big influence on you know, people around the world.
What brought that, Prime Minister? Marcus Rashford.
He's been doing a lot of charity work recently.
He's even gotten the OBE or MBE now. Yeah,
it's the kind of participation in social issues like that elevates I would say, the political pedigree, the political viability of any potential candidate. At the same time, I don't think it's likely to ever happen. First of all, the political class in the UK
it's not going to happen.
Are never going to take him seriously enough.
As far as Marcus Rashford is concerned, he says, as far as Harry Kane is one of the best forwards in the world.
Yes, he is right. Don't forget, Harry Kane just won the highest scorer in the EPL last season. So he's coming from the of a whole lot of games. Tottenham, his legs are tired, but yet he's going to get goals. Don't forget also he was the highest scorer at the World Cup 2018. So most of those goals were penalty kicks, and I think he can start taking penalties. If he takes penalty kicks, and from there he will start firing on all cylinders.
I think these guys, Mukhail, make too much noise when it comes to English players and the English press. Harry Kane is not, for me, a fantastic striker. Yes, wow. A regular English striker who is strong, who is rugged, who can get the ball up front, can struggle with defenders, but he's not fantastic like that.
I would strongly disagree.
Okay. Is this guy?
Okay, so let me say, the standard number 9 has to be strong.
Yeah.
Quick.
Rugged.
Yeah. Able to play with his back to the post and still beat his man. Harry Kane is all of those things, even though he's not very fast. I see, Sayo, you were saying something now. I see a better striker in Jamie Vardy than Harry Kane. Jamie Vardy has pace going for him.
He has pace going for him, exactly.
But you can never take away from the fact that Harry Kane, no matter what, is a fantastic goal scorer. From the kind of technical prowess he has demonstrated, where he's able to hit balls, even volleys, with pinpoint accuracies. Strikers in England, and I know it's the English press, but strikers have been talking, past strikers, veteran strikers, have spoken about the kind of technical difficulty that he seems to overcome every time he strikes a ball, no matter what angle it's coming at him from. So he's the kind of striker that, at his age, we wouldn't care if he spent all of his time in the box 18 just with a tap-in, with plenty of opportunities to score goals like that. Certainly some players, some strikers at his age would evolve their games that way. But I don't think he's as committed to scoring as much goals. I feel like Harry Kane already feels he has done enough to cement his reputation as a goal scorer.
At 27?
But he's now at a point where he's able to demonstrate all the other facets to his game, just like Rooney did when he dropped deeper towards the end of his career.
Shaya, would you agree with Mukhail when he says that Harry Kane feels he has done enough? So he's not particular about scoring goals?
I feel Harry Kane is built to score goals. And I want to ask this question to you. How many strikers in the world, in 5 leagues in the world now, actually who play for a small or modest side, come out in the highest scorers? It's only Harry Kane. If you check Spain, if you check Italy, it's just Harry Kane. You understand? So he had something else to his game. Now he had assists to his game. Last season showed he can score and the same way assist. So I think Harry Kane plays for a small club like Tottenham. If he's playing for
small club,
the likes of Bayern Munich, yes, Tottenham is a small club. You cannot compare Tottenham with Arsenal. You cannot compare Tottenham with Chelsea.
Shayo's right.
City.
Tottenham,
It's a small club.
Tottenham are only relevant in England because they are part of the fabled Big Six.
Yeah.
That's it.
Everywhere else, Tottenham would be the Sevilla or the Villarreal of Spain, or maybe even the Roma of Italy. But when you consider that Harry Kane, now I feel he's more in the mode of Benzema. And if he was playing in any other proper big European club, we would be talking about him, Benzema, and Messi and Ronaldo, and Lewandowski as the best forwards across all the leagues.
Well, I have a few Tottenham fans who will not like this. They won't like it. Now, Belgium playmaker Kevin De Bruyne is fit to play against Denmark today, later tonight. And of course, will make a much anticipated entry to the European Championship. Coach Roberto Martinez has said this yesterday. Now, De Bruyne suffered a double facial fracture in last month's Champions League final against Belgium's build-up in Euro 2020 and their first Group B game against Russia on Saturday when they posted an impressive 3-0 victory. Belgium's final group game is against Finland in St. Petersburg on Monday. Now, Witsel, who is 32, is set for a surprise return after tearing an Achilles tendon in January while playing for Borussia Dortmund. After undergoing surgery, he was told he would be 9 months before he would play again. But Martinez said Witsel's disciplined rehabilitation has allowed him to return way ahead of schedule. Now, Eden Hazard is 30, had an injury-plagued season at Real Madrid, but was used as a substitute against Russia and showed some of his old spackle in a 20-minute cameo.
Be in a match situation. Obviously now is the question of seeing how long Kevin can play and how we can use the 2 games that we have in 5 days to try to bring him to the 90 minutes. I'm really pleased with the progress that he's making. Every day makes a big difference. And I could add that Axel Witsel is in the same situation and a little bit different because Eden has already been involved in the friendly against Croatia and the game against Russia. But I think every player follows an individual program to try to get every player up to the speed of the 90 minutes match fitness with the 2 games that we have ahead.
I just had a message from him, then he told me he was okay. And, I told him, to take his time, and whenever he wants to talk, I'm always here. But, obviously, tomorrow after the game, I will send him a little message. Because I think right now, let him spend enough time with his family. Because I think a lot of people were trying to talk to him in the last few days. So now I just let him recover, and I'll just message him tomorrow.
Romelu Lukaku. Now, I still don't understand why Belgium is number 1 in the FIFA rankings. Sayo, let me come to you there.
I think we have discussed this earlier, talking about the kind of players at disposal. Just imagine now, without their most creative player, their most influential player from the middle, Kevin De Bruyne, they still were able to dispatch Russia without no stress, 3-0. That shows you the kind of caliber of players they have. And these players can start in any team in the world. Is it Lukaku? Is it Hazard, though he's getting his fitness back? Is it De Bruyne himself? Is it Telemann of Leicester City? These guys are amazing. And it just goes to show that their stocks are rising. And I think, to an extent, they deserve number 1.
You think so too?
I think so, because if you look at the top teams in the competition right now, France are obviously favorites. No one has scored against Mancini's Italy. Germany, sometimes we love the football they play, but they've not been incisive enough in the last couple of years to make us feel...
Sorry, I've never loved the Shaft. That style of play. It's very rigid, it's very, for me,
well,
you just want to win.
It's a machinery. Then Spain, because of the reputation they have, and occasionally they play good football. But the problem they've still had for a number of years, which Diego Costa solved for a little bit, was the striker position. The ability to have someone pierce through a defense and score with all the strength necessary. So France are obviously the strongest amongst all of those teams I've called because they're obviously favorites and they can beat anyone. And if Italy and France go head to head, that would be a fantastic game to watch. That said, Italy or France going up against Belgium will find it extremely difficult because they have just as much quality in every part of the pitch.
True that.
They play as good football as anybody else in the competition, attacking, creative. They break down teams. They can switch up tactical approach at a drop of a hat. And when you have someone like Hazard, who can come off the bench just to play 30 minutes, even if it's just 30 minutes of sparkle, it can destabilize any defense.
Let me mention this before I go to my next story. It sounds like a joke, but it's not. If you see the Nigerian national team, the team photograph, we look like a foreign team. But if you see the French national team,
they look like an African team.
They are actually an African team, really. N'Golo Kante, Paul Pogba. Two people who were treated in hospital for minor injuries caused by a protester who parachuted into Munich soccer stadium before France's 1-0 win over Germany in the European Championship on Tuesday were released on Wednesday, according to local police. Now, the parachutist with kick-out oil and green peas written on the back of his parachute flew into the stadium briefly, delaying the match. The parachutist came into a step angle, appearing to clip a cable when entering the stadium as he struggled to gain control before landing heavily at the far end of the pitch where players were waiting to start the Group F match. Now, France coach Didier Deschamps, who was seen ducking out of the way of the large piece of equipment near the dugout, said he suffered a little bruise. Now, Greenpeace Germany said it was sorry. Writing on its website on Tuesday, we apologize for this demonstration. Did not get with what we planned, that apparently, and someone was injured. This was never our intention. Now, Greenpeace says we didn't plan for anybody to be injured, but we planned our protests. Now, So it's
still a reckless protest because
Very
even
reckless,
if no one else in the stadium had been injured, anything could have happened to the parachutist.
Yeah.
He could have lost control at a higher height.
Didier Deschamps was bruised, the French coach.
So they have to, while they're busy protesting oil, they have to take responsibility for the potential injuries they caused.
Okay. Sayo, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. Thank you very much.
The pleasure is mine.
Thank you, bro. Well, protesters and the Atlanta Hawks mounted an incredible late comeback to stun the Philadelphia 76ers and take a 3-2 lead in the Eastern Conference semifinal series in the NBA. Now, seemingly cruising to a win on home court, the 76ers led by 18 points, leading with fourth quarter, but Atlanta then scored 40 points in the final 12 minutes to secure an incredible 109-106 win. Let's watch this when we come back. Stay with us.
It's good. Such a defense, but Simmons sets up Joel Embiid. Three-pointer is good. Oh, off the window. John Collins with a three-pointer. This is a single-digit game. Hawks down 8 once again. Young gives it up. Collins leaves it for
Yeah, see, you attack now, forced to help. Does Atlanta give it to him on the block?
Before we go quickly, Mukhail, 40 points in 12 minutes. I've never seen that in my life.
They wanted it more. That's the only thing I can think of because I had Philadelphia down to win that game. I had friends that were certain Philadelphia were taking the series.
But who does 40 points in 12 minutes? Thank you very much, Mukhail Tinubu, for joining us as usual.
Thank you
very much. 40 points in 12 minutes. I have never heard that before. I don't know. Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa, join us same time tomorrow, same station. My name is Wale Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.